and get more practice. Linda and Taylor, Smith contracted in writing to sell Peters a used personal computer for $600. Contract did not specifically address the time for payment, place of delivery, or Peters' right to inspect the computer. I guess, Linda, I guess one of my first questions is this common law or UCC? UCC, since it's for the sale of a good. So what would be covered by the common law? Taylor? If UCC covers the sale of goods, what else would we have a contract for? Service contract. For example, Talini, your contract with Linda to sing her wedding is a service contract, and therefore would be covered by common law. And what else would be, what kind of, Linda, what kind of a sales contract would be covered by the common law? So real estate, since UCC only applies to tangible, movable property. Next question, Linda, not relevant to the answer, but kind of an interesting question. $600, does that contract have to be in writing?
Yes.
Yes, it's more than $500 and it's for good. So now, Linda, let me see. Smith is obligated to deliver the computer to Peter's home. I don't think that's right.
No.
B, Peter is entitled to inspect the computer before paying for it. I'll think about that. Taylor, Peter may not pay for the computer using a personal check unless Smith agrees. UCC is not that specific. And D, Smith is not entitled to payment until 30 days. Linda, that doesn't even make sense. So the answer must be B. B is in boy. You agree, Taylor?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Question number 2. Sydney David. Under the sales article of the UCC, unless otherwise agreed to, Sydney knows how often they like this kind of question. What happens if the contract is silent? Because, Sydney, if the contract is not silent, I don't think there's a question. So, if on the sales article of the UCC, unless otherwise agreed to, the seller's obligation, the buyer is to, Sydney?
B.
B. David, B is in boy? You agree? Very good. Question 3. So let me think about this. Kelsey, it seems like that thinking ahead, not only the test on Friday, but that doesn't really matter. But thinking ahead to the test when you take the CPA exam, it seems like, Kelsey, that the class is doing fairly well on these questions. Could that lead to overconfidence for the CPA exam? Consider the advantages you have doing this, 2 advantages that you have doing this that you won't have when you head to CPA exam. You tell me one, AJ will tell me, you tell me one, AJ will tell me the other one.
These are all about specific topics that we're covering.
And so you know all these questions deal, for example, the questions last time dealt with risk of loss. Questions next time will deal with warranties. These questions all deal with performance. So that's an advantage. And AJ, the other advantage is, for this one, you have the opportunity to talk to others, which I strongly encourage. But when you take the CPA exam, you might have a corporate tax question for multiple choice number 1, and the second question could be about contract law. Third question could be about itemized deductions, and the fourth question could be about bankruptcy. So you don't have that degree of specialization. However, I think Kelsey, you should be. So there might be. I would worry about overconfidence. But the other hand, Kobe, I think the questions illustrate the CPA exam is difficult not because it's deep, but because it's broad. And these are not deep questions; these are broad questions. Question number 3. Kelsey and Ann. Jefferson Hardware ordered 300 hammers from Ajax Hardware. Ajax accepted the order in writing. Final date allowed for delivery. Ajax discovered did not have enough of the hammers that they ordered, so they substituted 300 different hammers. So I guess my first question is, Kelsey, did they do what they promised to do?
No.
They did not. Therefore, and what's the answer? C. Kelsey, you agree?
Yes.
That is, shipment of strong hammers, although you'd think strong would be, we would want a hammer to be strong. But it's a breach of contract. Question 4. AJ and Matt, under the UCC sales article, plaintiff who proves fraud in the formation of the contract may, AJ, elect to rescind the contract and need not return the consideration. AJ, does that even seem fair? I get out of the, so you pay me $1,000 and you commit fraud, which means you're a bad person, but you commit fraud and then I get out of the contract and I can keep the $1,000 as a bonus? Doesn't seem fair. So I think A is wrong. Then AJ, being entitled to rescind the contract and sue for damages, I think that might be okay. Matt C, being entitled to punitive damages. First question is, Matt, what are punitive damages?
Like smaller damages.
So damages to, because the conduct was so outrageous, we want to punish the defendant. But generally, AJ, you don't see punitive damages in contract law. You see punitive damages in tort law. So C is wrong. And then AJ, rescind the contract even if there's no reliance on the fraudulent statement. So, AJ, is it B or D?
B.
B. Matt, you agree? B is in boy?
Yeah.
Very good. Question number 5. Brandon and Zenith, Brandon, under the sales article of the UCC, which of the following rights are available to the buyer? So let's do this. And notice, Brandon, this is a very common type of question. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I skip one? I did. AJ and Matt. Which one did I skip? Right.
On the previous page.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh. Be still. Okay. And Michael, the clicker is still not here, so you still have it. I know you took it. So what I'd like to do, Brandon, in this question is, and notice, Brandon, this is a typical question, a very common type of question where it says, is this true, is this true, is this true? So the way I would like to do it is look at all three and turn it into a true-false question and then find the multiple choice that matches it. So therefore, there's a seller who commits an anticipatory breach of contract. What are rights available to the buyer? Number 1, demand assurance of performance. Can you do that?
Yes.
Sure, it won't work, but you can do that. Cancel the contract.
Yes.
Yes. Or collect punitive damages. Well, Matt has already told us that we won't get punitive damages generally under contract law. Therefore, this is yes, and this is yes, and this is no. Therefore, Brandon, the answer is
B.
B. B is in boy. Exactly. Okay. And to continue, question number next. Question number 6. Jody and Michael, on the sales contract in UCC, which of the following statements regarding liquidated damages are correct? So Jody, if I have a liquidated damage clause in a contract, what does that mean?
It would mean that there's a set amount.
Okay, very good. So it means that if you and I have a contract and we put a liquidated damages in the clause, and a clause in the contract, that means if there's a breach, that the damages, if I breach the contract, I'll pay you X dollars. And notice that can work, Michael, notice that can work in my favor and her favor, because it limits, I breach the contract, it limits the amount she can sue me for, but it guarantees that you'll get the payment. So it's good for me and it's good for her. It limits my damages, but it guarantees you will get the payment without taking me to court. So, I guess, and notice again, I can turn this into a true-false. So, Michael, let me think of the first one. The injured party may collect any amount of liquidated damages provided in the contract. Why is that wrong?
That needs to be like a reasonable
Well, I'm not sure that's correct. We can agree to whatever we agree to. However, the UCC is concerned with stuff that's not in the contract. And this is in the contract. Therefore, we don't need this because we already have agreed to it. So this is wrong. So then, Jody, what about the next question? Seller may retain a deposit up to $500, and again, that's absent a provision in the contract when the buyer defaults, even if there's no liquidated damages provision in the contract. That is true. Therefore, 1 is no, 2 is yes. Therefore, Jody, the answer is B as in boy. So, Katie and Buzu, what's your name? Beachy. And Katie? We have a contract to sell custom manufacture a compressor. And then the buyer notifies the seller that I want out of the contract. So clearly, Katie, there's a breach of contract.
Yep.
The contract price is $120. I've incurred cost of $90. The seller has incurred cost of $90,000. In addition, and we can't sell to anybody else. Nobody else wants to buy. Why, Katie? Because it's custom made. In addition, we paid $2,000 for storage. So, Bijou, let me ask you a question. Would the damages include the $2,000? That is that a cost that I incurred because of the breach of contract? Would the damages include $2,000? Is that a cost that I incurred because of the breach? Yes. Therefore, that means that, Katie, the answer is either B or D. Because I have to include the $2,000. Taylor, you agree? Now the answer is either B or D. Let me think about this. Katie, you can make an argument that should be B, because that's what I'm out of pocket. On the other hand, Katie, in a breach of contract, the general principle is I should put in the position I would have been in had there been no breach. So the question is not what am I out of pocket? The question is what position would I would have been in had there been no breach. And Katie, had there been no breach, I would have $120,000, and I would not have incurred the current storage fees. So in other words, I'm going to get my profit. Did you agree? And that seems fair because, Brandon, that's what would have happened had there been no breach. What would have happened had there been no breach is I would have been paid $120,000 and I wouldn't have incurred the storage fee. So therefore, Katie, the answer is D is in dog, exactly. So let's go to the notes for today. And I have no clicker. Michael? Angel, let the record reflect. Let the record reflect that Michael has taken my clicker. Anybody else have a class in here? Nobody has a class in this room? Really?
Accounting theories.
Accounting theories in here.
Accounting theories.
She doesn't use PowerPoint,
Well, it's too theoretical. Tommy, I don't know if I asked you this question before, and I shouldn't ask it because, at this point in time, but it's on my mind, so I'll tell you. The one faculty who when the person, I won't say he or she, when the person took the CPA exam, made the high score in their state, who was that faculty member? It certainly wasn't me, because I failed auditing. Who was it? The high score in the state of Missouri. 73. Now, if I did not, but see, you sort of knew the answer because we were just talking about fleet. But if you did not know the answer, and I told you one faculty member made the top score, like 97 on all parts, you would have thought fleet, wouldn't you? You know what you call that? Overkill. But that's another question. But again, it's not surprising because she's probably our best technician. Today we will discuss warranties, expressed and implied, and warranty disclaimers. And David, I could define the definitions, but I don't like to do that, so you define them for me. David, what is a warranty? And then Greg, tell me if you agree. David, a warranty is?
Basically just a guarantee
So it's a guarantee, it's a promise that what?
that something either will or won't do something for a set.
Or something will or will not do something, or something is fit for a particular purpose, or whatever. Okay. Now, Greg, do you agree?
Yeah.
What, and Megan, what is an express warranty?
It's whenever a seller indicates that there's affirmation of a fact or promise, there's a description of the goods, and a sample or model is conforming to the good.
So, Katie, what's the difference in an express and an implied warranty?
An implied warranty is just like by inference, like that product should do.
Okay, and generally, Katie, we see implied warranties under the UCC. That there's a certain warranties that are there, Megan, even if you don't say it. Now, Taylor, you agreed with Megan on the definition of express warranty? Very good, answer. Matt, you agreed with Katie. So Matt, how do I make an express warranty? Do I have to use the word warranty? I warrant?
No.
So do I have to say I guarantee? That is, Matt, do I have to use magic words? Okay. And can I do it, so how do you know if I made a warranty or not? Matt?
I feel like if you're like especially in that area, like a doctor who says like this product's gonna work, then like.
Okay, so would you say, Matt, that the standard is, would any reasonable person seeing what happened think there was a warranty?
Yeah.
Now, Katie, Taylor, a question for you. Can I have an express warranty not only by words but by action?
Yes.
Yes. For example, consider this. What if I buy something from you, and I asked you, will it do this? And you nod your head. Matt, has she just given me a warranty? She didn't say a word, but now I think Kelsey, you agree?
Yeah.
Kelsey, one of the problems there is there's an evidentiary question. That is, how do I prove that she did that? But putting that aside, assuming I can prove it, and how would I prove it? Witnesses, and so forth, then we have a warranty. So, Kayla, if that's what a warranty is, what's a warranty disclaimer?
When a warranty is limited by something specific.
Okay, and you agree? Now, Kelsey, how do I do a disclaimer? And I think the answer to the question, Kelsey, depends, but give me an example. How would you disclaim a warranty? And then Cellini, you can give me another example.
You can have it written into the contract.
Okay, so I could put it in the contract and say language such as is, or I could say there are no warranties associated with this, or how else could I do it, Cellini?
Other than being written.
I mean, I could say it orally.
Right.
Okay. With that as an introduction, let's see what the UCC says. The UCC creates 3 warranties at sale. Cellini, the warranty of good title, which means it belongs to me, nobody else. Cellini, the warranty of no liens, which means what?
That nobody else has an interest.
Nobody else has a claim to it. And Michael, that makes sense. if I sell you my car, even if I don't tell you that there are no, that the bank does not have a lien on the car because I have not paid for the car yet, even if I don't tell you that, Michael, I've warranted that. And in fact, Talini, if there is a lien, I have a duty to tell you. And if there are no infringements, what would that mean, Talini?
That there's no breach of copyright.
Okay, so in other words, when I sell you something, Talini, I warrant to you that nobody can come in and interfere with your right to use that property. I've given you a title, there are no liens, and there are no infringements on the property. To use a non-UCC example, suppose, Talini, I sold you my property, I sold you some land, and suppose that Michael has an easement to the land. Michael, what's an easement? A right to cross the property. So therefore, here is my property. So here's the road. And here is my property. This is me. And then your property is here. Well, the problem is, how do you get from the road to your property? You have to cross my property and I give you an easement. So therefore, if I sell you my land, Talini, do I have a duty to tell you about that easement? And you'd want to know that. Okay. And I think that seems reasonable. Now, let's do an example. And you'll notice that Kayla, is this what you've got? Oh, because you're on Blackboard.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Because I changed it this morning because I had the names backwards. So I just read it the way it is. Jack Winstead, a notorious cat burglar. Just for the record, last week I was calling him a burglar, remember? And then at a faculty meeting, I shared with him that I was calling him a cat burglar, and he says, why don't you make me a cat burglar? So this was his idea, just for the record. Just for the record. That's on the record, right? Jack Winstead, a notorious cat burglar, stole a laptop from Cindy and sold it to Linda. Linda is unaware that it was stolen. Later, Cindy sees Linda using her computer, and Cindy, what's your reaction? Damn. What is Sydney's rights as to Linda? Sydney, think property law. Can you go to Linda because you're the rightful owner? She's not the rightful owner. Can you go to her and demand her to return the property to you?
No.
Yes, you can, because you've got the right to it. She's got no rights to it. Now, Linda, that does not seem fair to you, since the true owner can demand that you surrender the property. But then, Linda, what are your rights as regards to Jack? And as you think about this, when she takes away her computer, you might be annoyed at her, but who put you in this bad position? Not her. She's innocent, and you're innocent. It was Jack. So therefore, what right do you have against Jack?
I just give him for,
Infringement of the express warranty of title. So therefore, when he sold you the computer, he told you, or the UCC provided, no matter what he told you, the UCC provides that he gives you a warranty of title. And clearly did not. Now, can Linda be charged with a crime? Did you do anything wrong?
no,
Dealing with Jack may not be smart. Can Jack be charged with a crime? What do you think, Nikki?
what?
Can Jack be charged with a crime? Yes, he's a thief. Okay. Now, let's do the same example. We just change the names, sort of. Jack Winstead, a notorious cat burglar, stole a laptop from AJ and sold it to Bijou. Jack informed Bijou that it is stolen. So, Bijou, how is this different from the one we just did?
I thought they was stolen.
So, Linda did not know she was dealing in stolen property, but you do. So let's see what that changes. So what are AJ's rights as to be Jude? AJ, can you demand a computer back? Yes, it's your computer. Now, Bijou, what are your rights as to Jack? Can you sue him alleging breach of warranty? No, why not?
I think I'm illegal.
Did he tell you that he did not have good title? Therefore, there is no warranty of title because he told you that. So that means that you're stuck. You have to give the computer back, and can you get your money back from Jack? Now, Bijou, can you be charged with a crime?
Yeah.
Possession of stolen property. And can Jack be accused of a crime? Yes, because he, as Megan said, he is a thief. Okay, very good. So, yes ma'am.
So whenever we talked about the pawn shop and then someone couldn't get their ring back, was that because the pawn person was a merchant?
Think about this. So is the property stolen? Or the property is pawned?
Pawn.
Okay, so I go to the pawn shop and I pawn my ring. So what's the question?
Maybe it wasn't a pawn shop. I just remember there was an example where we gave someone our watch to be fixed and then he sold our watch to someone else.
We did a TV.
Oh yes, but how is that different?
You left it in the hands of a merchant? I think that's my question. I'm not sure why it's different.
That's a good question, and the difference here is that was in the ordinary course of business because it was involving a merchant. This is not in the ordinary course of business. Although I assume that thieves always sell their merchandise. And later when we talk about debtor-creditor relations and consider, Megan, that let's suppose somebody goes bankrupt. It could be that 3 or 4 people have a lien against a car. The question is, which one has priority? And generally we give priority to the one that acquired the property in the ordinary course of business. But Linda and Bijou, you did not acquire the property in the ordinary course of business because you were dealing with a thief and not a merchant. Does that make sense? Good answer. Good question. Statements that create warranties as to the quality, condition, description of performance, potential of goods can be created by an affirmation, a description, or any sample or product. So Kobe goes into Jody's back shop to learn about the Easy Ride bicycle, so I advertise in the local newspaper. Jody shows him a floor sample for the bicycle, indicates that it is designed to shift and brake more easily than its current model does. Kobe, you decide to purchase a bike, and she does not give you the display model, because that's for display, but she went to the back of the store and gave you a box. The bike was in a box, and that's what you bought. So Jody, what did you warrant to Kobe?
But it's gonna be the same as that.
It's going to be the same, and Kobe's had a reasonable expectation. Now, Kobe, is this an express or implied warranty? Did she do anything to state to you that there's a warranty?
She went and got the bike after I,
So is it an express or implied?
I would say both,
Yes, when CPA exam, I have to choose one.
implied.
Actually, it's express because Taylor, this is another example of a warranty created by action. She did not say anything, but the action of giving him the box was an express warranty. Okay. Basis of the bargain. Seller does not have to use the words guarantee or warranty. Buyer must rely on the warranty when he enters into a contract. Statement of opinions and value. Only statements of fact creating express warranties. Puffery, this is the best car you ever drive, is not a warranty. However, Katie, there's an exception for statements of opinion by experts. So Katie, give me an example of an opinion by an expert, and notice the significance of that, Megan, is that if I merely state an opinion, that's not a warranty. That's simply a statement. For example, Megan, you go in to buy a new clothes, and the salesperson says to you, you look lovely in those clothes. Well, first of all, you don't believe her, do you?
No.
Because she's going to tell that to everybody. And secondly, even if she's telling you the truth, different people may have different opinions about whether you look lovely or not. So Katie, so the statement, you look lovely, or this is the best car you will ever drive, or this is the best product on the market, or puffery, and are not warranties. But the exception is a statement of opinion by an expert. Katie, give me an example.
Could it be like, I don't know, like a car dealer saying that this car will drive for like 75,000 miles or something?
Well, of course, that's
That's sort of
that's probably puffery, but just think of an example of an art dealer. And notice when the salesperson says to Megan, you look lovely in that, then there's no reason that the salesperson has particular expertise. But Kayla, an art dealer, you would expect her to have a particular expertise, and you expect her to have more expertise. And so the art dealer says, this is worth $100,000. But it's not, so now, Cindy, has the art dealer breached the warranty? Yes, because this is not mere puffery, this is a statement by an expert, which creates a warranty. Merchantability automatically arises from merchants. So, Katie, this is implied under UCC. And what it means is that goods are of average, fair, or medium grade, that adequately packaged and labeled, and everything on the label is true. Warranty can be breached even if the merchant did not know product was defective, and I think, Kelsey, that's consistent with the concept of strict liability. That is, if the product was defective from the product is defective from the factory, you are a merchant and you sell it to me, I can still hold you liable even if you had no knowledge. And Taylor, is that fair? Arguably it is, because Kelsey, that's the price that you pay for being in business. So, and presumably when you set your pricing strategy, you would take that potential into account. Okay, so let me do that again. So Michael, you produce widgets. You're the manufacturer and the wholesaler. You sell them to Kelsey, who's a retailer. The widgets are defective. She sells them to me. I can sue her. Even though I can also sue you, but I can sue her because she is a merchant. Now, Kelsey, if you were not a merchant, then you would not be held to the same standard. Yes?
Can Kelsey sue Michael then?
Yes.
Like,
Kelsey can also sue Michael, and I hope she does, because you stole my clicker. And that makes sense because, and Katie asked herself the question, I'm hurt, and I shouldn't accept the responsibility. And Kelsey, obviously Michael should, because it's his fault, and probably because that's right after your workers came back from strike. But Kelsey, again, why should you be held responsible?
Because I'm a merchant.
You're a merchant, and that's the price you pay for being in business. Fitness for a particular purpose. Notice that the key word here is particular versus an ordinary purpose. The first and ordinary purpose of merchantability, goods can be merchantable but unfit for a particular purpose. But notice that the seller has to know, Talini, the seller has to know what purpose you have. So therefore, let's suppose, Talini, that let's suppose Keith Harrison, when he retires, wants to go into bicycle racing. That's funny just to think about. And then he comes to you, and he wants to buy a bicycle that would be appropriate for competition. So therefore, not all bicycles would be appropriate. Kobe, you agree? That is, for competition, you have certain special things you need. So he comes to you, Tillini, and he doesn't tell you. He simply says to you, I want to buy a bicycle. Is there a warranty of fitness for a particular purpose? Why not?
Because he didn't do it.
He comes in and he tells you, now that holds you to a higher standard because you're a merchant and you know what his purpose is. Kobe, one time, Kobe, once upon a time, Kobe, there was something called a camera and you could take pictures. Now you do it with your phone. So you don't probably know what a camera is. So one time I went into a camera shop. I said, I want to buy a cheap camera. Jody, you would have thought that I insulted his mother. And he says, we don't have cheap cameras. We have inexpensive cameras. Brendan, he lost a sale. We don't have cheap cameras. But you see, Tillini, he didn't know my purpose. What was my purpose? To get a cheap camera. So he showed me an inexpensive one. That was bigger than my budget. Prior dealings with custom arises when both parties to a contract have knowledge of a well-recognized trade custom. Candace and Michael providing an example. I'm sorry?
Maybe like car dealerships, customs, like detail used car before.
Okay, and it's generally known in the industry that that's customary. Or Candace, you could pick out the example that's in the book. And the example that's in the book says, Michael, is similar to your example, is that when a car is sold, it's custom that it be lubricated before it's sold. And therefore, even though Tillini, even though the dealer did not promise to lubricate the car, it's understood that he would because of the prior dealings or custom. Michael, you agree? Warranty disclaimers and limitations on liabilities. Express warranties can be disclaimed if they were never made, but then Kelsey, that gets into the evidentiary question as to what he said, she said. If a clear written disclaimer in contract with specific, unambiguous language and call to the buyer's attention, notice, Taylor, that all these are highlighted, has to be specific, unambiguous, and call to the buyer's attention. So Taylor can't be in the so-called small print. So Linda, would you come to the conclusion that UCC frowns on warranty disclaimers? And if you do it, you have to be very clear that you're doing it. And I think, Brandon, that's consistent with the UCC trying to encourage commerce. Implied warranties, unless circumstances indicate warranties of fitness and merchantability, can be disclaimed with the words as is, with all faults, etc. However, an implied warranty of fitness must be in writing and conspicuous. Statute of limitations is 4 years, and it begins to tow at tender. And Candace, tell me again what tender means.
Like it's available.
Oh yeah, when the product is made available. And then I want to look at the review and warranties on page 450, which is kind of wrap it up. But Alex, since next time we're going to be doing a review, and the CPA, in fact there'll be 2 CPA assignments. One is about warranties, and Linda's the expert on that. And one is a series of simulations, and then we'll also do this